Senator Hughes.
Thank you. And I just actually wanted to follow on from Senator Askew's questions earlier. So I understand that the third phase of Stop It at the Start has just been launched. I'm just wondering if there's any research or reviews of what's gone before it, and if you could take me through that.
Yes, Senator, I might just ask Mel Evans, who heads our communications branch, to speak to this.
Hi, Melissa Evans from the Communication Services branch. I'll take you through the phase 1 and phase 2 of the Stop It at the Start campaign. So just to rehash, it is a primary prevention campaign, and the approach isn't always immediate, but we definitely have some really good results from phase 1 and phase 2 of that campaign. So benchmarking, tracking and evaluation research was conducted over the life of the campaign by the whole of government researcher, Hall partners. So across phase 1 and phase 2, there were 4 rounds of benchmarking and 5 waves of tracking, with a total national representative sample size of 7,556 people that we spoke to. The evaluation report delivered the following the completion of phase 1 and phase 2, found the campaign to be credible, effective in creating the desired intention to act, so whereby people seek out information to engage with young people in a conversation or talk to other influencers. The research found it worked equally well with culturally and linguistically diverse audiences, and also Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander audiences. And with understanding of the link between disrespect and violence, it's really central to our campaign and the success of Stop at the Start. And this really increased significantly following the campaign activities for phase 1 and phase 2. So influencers, that's influencers of people who are sort of 10 to 17 years old, teachers, parents, coaches. Their understanding of the link peaked at 76%, so that's really substantial. The public response far exceeded the expectations that we had. So the TV commercials in phase 1 and phase 2 had been viewed 51 million times online, so that doesn't count the viewings that we got from TV, digital or cinema, so that's just digital. The website received over 1.7 million page views from 1.2 million users, and over 85,000 downloads of our key resources for those influencers, such as teachers, parents. So we had a huge engagement with our content on the Respect website. And that wasn't just in Australia. We had views and comments from people in the US, UK, Brazil, Pakistan, the Philippines, Dominican Republic, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Bolivia, Germany, Jamaica, South Africa, Canada, China, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Korea and India, just to name a few.
Quite a few.
Further to that,
quite a few.
70% of all people surveyed by Hall and Partners, our whole of government researcher, said that they record elements of the campaign, and 60% of those took action. So that could be talking to another influencer, actually intervening in an act of disrespect when they saw it play out. And that really is the objective of the campaign. So with that research, that really informed an evaluation, this third phase of the campaign, where we're trying to encourage key influencers to overcome the perceived cost of intervening, and that could be a social cost of other people.
So that'd be the third phase of it, is really that overcoming the challenges of intervening?
Definitely, and giving them those tools to have the conversations with other influencers through conversation guides and running community events, so we normalise that behaviour, and that really is key to some of the scenes that you see in each of the ads that we've got running. We've also got a lot of public relations activities to support that advertising, so really targeted information for each of the target audiences within those influencer subsets to help them have those conversations and understand the role they play, and small things can make a significant change in our society.
Mm-hmm. So, following on from that with the funding, and also I know Senator Askew got a breakdown of how much funding was provided to each state. Can you maybe just give us a little more information on how they actually received the money and how much has been spent by each of the states? Because my understanding is it was given to the states to run projects out. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Senator, sorry.
So yeah, how did they receive the money and how much have they spent?
I'll just ask my other colleague to come up.
This is back to the NPA. Senator, if I understand, part of your question was how they received the money.
Yep.
So they received it in different tranches. In May 2020, 27.8 million was paid out. In June 2020, 4.7 million.
No, so really what I'm trying to get to is how much, we know how much each state got.
Okay.
But did they get it, and look, it can be sort of a little bit more overarching, but did they get it in one hit? Were they getting it for specific projects? Like, how did they actually receive it? Was it a you get so many million and we're kind of giving it to you now, or you get so many million for these projects that you're running out?
So it was provided in 4 tranches. So those were the first 2 that Mr Bennett mentioned. There was a further 2 tranches, but all the funding had been paid out by September last year. And we had discussions with states and territories about whether they wanted to us to fund them for specific projects on a specific demand-driven kind of basis.
Yeah.
And I think the Minister mentioned this earlier, the view of Women's Safety Ministers was they preferred it be largely allocated on a pro rata basis. So we used a per capita formula, we used a bit of adjustment around small jurisdictions and jurisdictions with high numbers of people in remote regions, and so it was paid out really on a formula. The states are now in the process of allocating and expending that funding, so I think we provided earlier some statistics. But
we definitely got the numbers earlier, state by state.
Yeah,
so have we got reports back on how much they've actually spent to date?
Yes. So
yes.
I'll ask Mr Bennett to read that.
We have, and as I previously mentioned, this information is as at the end of January, so it may have changed, but as at the end of January, New South Wales, and I use the expressions expended rather than allocated is different, but in terms of what was expended was 8.8 million, Victoria was 10.4 million, Queensland 8.1 million, WA 2.815, South Australia 2.6, Tasmania 0.8, ACT 1.5, Northern Territory 1.2.
And just to add, that's 28%, I believe, overall, as an overall figure.
Yep.
So only 28% of the funding provided to states and territories has been spent.
Okay, and can you provide any details as to what that money's gone to? So I'm aware in New South Wales they've just done a domestic violence infrastructure announcement. What are the sort of programs that this money is being spent on?
It has been spent on a range of activities that was intended to boost capacity for frontline services, help service providers and adapt and innovate in response to the pandemic.
We could give some examples of what different states have spent it on, perhaps.
We potentially could, but I don't have that.
I think we've got some information here about...
Okay, yep, thank you. For example, New South Wales has used it to support frontline services, but also to do a domestic violence crisis hotline. Victoria did it for, used money for project interventions and training and building capability in the sector. Queensland had family wellbeing services. So it has been across a range of activities, including Western Australia had a program around increasing safe at home.
Okay. So I understand that the National Plan to Reduce Violence Against Women and Children was put into place in 2010, and there's been 4 action plans as part of that. Can you let me know what sort of funding's been attached to each of those plans?
Yes. So the first action plan funding was 88.5 million over 4 years. The second action plan, which was announced in 27th of June 2014, 117.2 million. The third action plan, which was announced 28th of October 2016, the funding was 104.1 million. But I would note that the previous year there'd been a women's safety package announced of 101.2 million. And then the fourth action plan, which was, as we've previously said, 340 million.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.